If you're using MyCase for your case management system in your law firm, are you using the accounting function as well? Let's take a tour. When you log into MyCase, this is the homepage. If you choose to add on the accounting feature, this menu is then added into MyCase on your dashboard. The first thing I love about MyCase Accounting is that it is fully immersed in your case management system. Where you're living all day, every day to manage your practice, accounting is right here. Now, something to note is that accounting will only appear for the users that you have authorized access into the accounting system. Typically, that's going to be your firm owners. It may only be one owner if you have multiple partners, and your bookkeeper. So let's see what this looks like. So under accounting, accounting has its own dashboard. So as soon as you get into this dashboard for accounting, it walks you through the steps you need to get started using MyCase Accounting. One thing to note, similar to other bookkeeping solutions, as long as your bank offers it, you can connect and get automatic feeds of the transactions as they clear your bank. And so this would be for all of your accounts, all your financial institution accounts. So your IOLTA account or IOTA, depending on what state you're in, your operating account. If you use a cash management system, I'm very big into the cash management system Profit First, which relies on multiple bank accounts to manage your firm's money. Essentially, you start off, you will have 6 bank accounts minimum because you're going to have your IOLTA plus 5 foundational accounts for Profit First. You may have more. All of those bank accounts will connect and the feed will automatically populate into what I call a queue. You review the queue to approve or reject the transactions, to approve to post them to your books or match them to existing transactions within your books. Same thing with credit cards. If you have credit cards that allow connection to third-party apps, you can connect them and then the transactions as they clear the bank and become posted to your account on your credit card, those will then appear in the queue that you then review to post into MyCase Accounting. As you continue to scroll down your dashboard in MyCase Accounting, I will point out I have a test account this is a nearly 4-year period, but that's because we don't have transactions in every period. But what I like about this dashboard is it's giving you these filters. So you can go in not only by date range, which some other bookkeeping solutions do have a similar dashboard, but they don't allow you to filter the information that you're seeing in the same way. Most of them will offer different slices, but usually they're based on dates and it's either the current month, last month, year to date, prior year to date. This is customizable. So you can do all time, or you can do some predetermined last 7 days and so forth, year to date, or you can pick dates. So that's what I did here, just so that I would have information to show you. Even though I've picked these dates, some of this information is only going to show me the last 12 months. So this cash flow here, this is giving me 13 months because October 2024, and it's going back to October of 2023. So that's 13 months of information, and you're seeing your money in and money out for each month. You can go in and you can select to see this information by attorney if you would like. Now, keep in mind that this information is only available if you have posted transactions tied to this attorney. You could do it by practice area. This is filtering and only showing information based on this practice area. What information populates here is dependent on how you've set up MyCase and how you're maintaining the data within MyCase. As long as you're keeping track of the information on a transaction by transaction basis, these filters are very powerful. If you have multiple offices, you'd be able to filter based on office. How powerful is that going to be to be able to go in and say, what's my profit and loss by office? Honestly, I'm just excited about the attorney part. Just from a lead attorney standpoint, one thing that I like to look at when I'm working with my clients is how much money are you billing per attorney? But to be able to go in and filter this by lead attorney, and then this is going to give me a profit and loss, again, hinges on how you're keeping track of your data. The more detailed you keep your books and the better these reports are and the more impact they're going to have to be able to give you the visibility into your information to make better decisions about managing your firm. I will be doing additional videos to dive more into each of these areas within MyCase Accounting. On the banking tab, you've got a list of your different bank accounts. This is a firm that has their trust and several checking accounts. You can put in here what the institution is, so what bank holds that money, last 4 digits, so you can identify easily what these accounts are. This bank balance will populate when you do that connection. As I showed you on the dashboard, if in this test file, there's no bank accounts connected. So that's why this bank balance is 0. But when you connect your MyCase Accounting to your bank, these numbers will populate. And then you'll be able to quickly look at and say, oh, I see the bank balance is this, but MyCase balance, meaning your book balance, is this. There must be some transactions that are either posted in MyCase and not yet cleared the bank. You wrote a check for a filing fee and dropped it off at the court, and they have not yet cashed that check. So it's not cleared the bank. That's what causes these balances to be different. That's a big, common item of why your bank balance, your book balance don't match. Another common reason why the bank balance and the book balance don't agree is that a client paid you by check. You took the check to the bank, but it has not yet posted. So like today, if I took a check to the bank, it doesn't post until tomorrow. And in fact, depending on your bank, they may put a hold on that check and you may not get it for 3 to 5 days or up to a week. Every bank's a little bit different. So that could be creating a difference between a bank balance and your book balance. It's common, which is why these two balances are shown to you because they don't always match, and it's okay that they don't. Deposit slips are great because when you accept checks from clients, not every firm accepts credit cards. And of the firms that accept credit cards, not all the clients pay by credit card. Some still pay by check. And when you get the checks, so deposit slip is exactly what it means. The same thing as when you go to the bank with the deposit slip. So this gives you the ability to create a record of how many checks and from whom you're taking money to the bank. So here in the checks section, now we have the checks that we've posted, and our bookkeeper or us, depending on who's doing your bookkeeping, went in and told your books, hey, I paid Samuel Schwartz. The memo was, Dr. Schwartz paid $100. Right now that's uncleared, and that means that it has not cleared your bank. So that's something that's outstanding. But these are the checks that are written, and you can print your checks, or we can update if we need to, or we can void it, depending on what we need to do for this check. But you have options to be able to edit these transactions. Rules, I'll go into this more in another video. So that goes through our banking tab. If we go into income, this income summary is pulling in your information from your billing. Because you're already in MyCase for your case management system and you're doing the billing within MyCase, that information automatically is being posted at the exact same time that you create and issue an invoice to a client. Why I love this is because if you're not using MyCase Accounting for your bookkeeping program, this information needs to somehow get to your books. And let me be clear, by using MyCase Accounting, that is your one official set of books for your business. So I'm not talking about having 2 sets of books for your business. That gets confusing. It will lead you down a very, 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 very bad path to maintain 2 sets of books. The IRS frowns upon it. It opens up to fraud and embezzlement and a whole bunch of bad things, intentional and not intentional. So one set of books. If you're not using MyCase Accounting, but you're using MyCase for your case management, when you issue a bill to a client, this invoice gets posted. Something now needs to happen in your official set of books. So if you're using another app for your books, then either someone needs to manually take this information and post it in your books, Manual means prone to errors, to human error. Also means it takes time. The other option, so there's two options. So either manual or this sounds better, but a lot of times creates more work, is you can set up to sync to a third-party accounting app. That sounds great, but just be clear about what information is going to the other app and know that oftentimes that sync breaks. Either MyCase does some updates that unintentionally creates an issue with that syncing process with the other bookkeeping app, or the bookkeeping app does some programming behind the scenes and it breaks something in that sync. Because even if you don't have a computer or an IT background, computers talk to each other with a very specifically defined language and one character, an extra space here, an asterisk over here. All of a sudden, those don't talk anymore. Okay. It throws a wrench in the whole thing, and then now you're not syncing. Keep in mind also that the sync to the other bookkeeping app is one directional, meaning you can edit, add, or delete things in MyCase, and that information gets pushed out to your bookkeeping app, which is fine. That's good. But if you're in the bookkeeping app and your bookkeeper is like, oh, that invoice, I know the partner told me I need to deduct $50. If they go into the bookkeeping app and edit the invoice in your books, that change does not push back into MyCase. That's what I mean when I say information goes one way, but not the other. So if you do things in MyCase, it'll push the edit to the bookkeeping app. But if you do a change in the bookkeeping app, it does not push that change back into MyCase. Okay. So now that creates a mismatch that somebody now has to sit and figure out. And sometimes that could be a needle in a haystack. That creates time. It's extra work that you don't need to do. So here within MyCase Accounting, you're not trying to figure out what did sync correctly, what did not sync correctly. There's no syncing of information. It's all housed in one spot. So it's just there. Okay. So just like we had on our dashboard for an accounting, our income summary, we can now start filtering this by dates. We can do it by case. We can do it by status. So we have different options for filters. So you could even pick this specific court case. You only want what's overdue for all time. And you apply the filters, and now this is what pops up. So imagine when it comes time to figure out your collections on past clients that haven't paid, how much easier is it now to figure out who's past due? So I could have just done everybody who's past due, and now here's my list. But what I like about this is how much easier is it to manage your money with the firm if you can go in and just pick overdue, apply the filter, and now you're just getting the list. So now here's these clients that you need to contact for past due payments. They haven't paid yet. That's what I love about this is bills and expenses. We have a couple different things here. Not only, again, do the filters repeat, and I love that we have different filters as options available to us. You get a lot of information right here between what's been paid, what's overdue. The overdue meaning you owe it and have not yet printed the check or made the payment by credit card. When it comes to client expenses, so the bills represents firm money. So firm overhead, firm expenses, that's what gets tracked in the bills part. In client expenses, and you may be paying this from firm money and then billing it back to clients. Some of these clients may have money in your IOLTA account that you're going to use to make those payments. This is capturing the paid and unpaid bills as the bills come in from your vendors, whatever the source is and whatever the reason why you owe it. You get it all entered into here. And now you have a better view of what the firm owes, whether that's client expenses or bills. If you want to look at this slightly different, here's a list by vendor. So now every vendor in your system is in here. And this is filtered. You can increase how many you're going to see on a page. Now you have information by vendor, what's overdue, total overdue, what's the balance owed, and then you can go and do edits from there. So that wraps us up on bills and expenses. So bank reconciliation. Now, I have been asked, why am I so excited about MyCase Accounting in comparison to why not just use a traditional long time standing bookkeeping app? My two big reasons are what I already talked about on the income page is I love with MyCase Accounting that we don't have to manually transfer income information over, or if we're syncing information over to a third-party bookkeeping app, we don't have to fix it when it breaks. And I'm not saying if it breaks, when it breaks. It breaks all the time. I've seen it. In the 20 years that I have been using QuickBooks, syncs always break. So it's not a question of if, it's when. So not only do I love that MyCase Accounting that eliminates the syncing, okay, so you don't have that, and it reduces the manual time. You enter it once, you enter something once, and it populates into your books right away. So I love that. But bank reconciliations, more specifically, your trust reconciliation. So unique to the legal industry. Other industries don't have this. Maybe some in banking and broker dealers and insurance may have some similars, but it's not common to do what's considered a three-way reconciliation. So normally you do a two-way reconciliation. A reconciliation, that process is just a big word that is saying, I looked at my bank account activity, I looked at my bookkeeping, and I could identify the items that are different between the two sources. I know that there were checks that I wrote in my books that have not yet cleared the bank. I know that I made deposits that are not yet posted in the bank, or I saw deposits that hit the bank from LawPay and they have not yet been posted in my books. But essentially, that's what a reconciliation is doing. It's a confirmation that your books are complete and accurate. So that's very key, because if you're going to record the history, you want to make sure that it's accurate and it's complete. So that's what that reconciliation does every month. That's the first way. That's two-way. We add in a third, and I don't have a third hand to make a point here. But the three-way reconciliation is we now take, when we're reconciling your bank account, your bank statement to your IOLTA checking account, that's recorded as an asset on your books, on your balance sheet. We have to do one other check. The amount in your IOLTA checking account reconciles to the trust liability. Doing this three-way reconciliation is required by every state bar. And I have seen so many law firms get tripped up on this. And let me be clear, there is a potential that if you're not doing this three-way reconciliation, it doesn't work right because something's out of sync, you could be disbarred, okay? I personally have not been involved in a firm who ended up getting disbarred, but I have been involved over the years with firms that the IOLTA is not reconciling correctly. This three-way part, usually for that two-way part matches, but there's times where the trust liability part, the amount you owe back to clients, doesn't agree what's in the bank account. By using MyCase as your practice management and the accounting, using MyCase Accounting, it substantially reduces the risk that your three-way reconciliation is not going to work. And it's all because of the way the information within the program is being maintained. Where I see the firms that have gotten off track, it's because they're using QuickBooks or Xero as their bookkeeping app, and then their billing system or their case management system completely separate. Whether they sync or not is irrelevant. Historically, from personal experience, if one thing is off, more than one thing is off. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why this happens. But the way that MyCase is designed with MyCase Accounting substantially reduces the risk that your trust liability is out of sync with your IOLTA balance. You go into each case by client and you're updating the trust activity. They paid a retainer. You billed out, or you paid filing fee from their retainer. As you're doing it on the case side, if you have MyCase Accounting, it's automatically posting those entries into MyCase Accounting. By those entries, it knows how to correctly update the trust liability account and your IOLTA account. That's why it's reducing the risk. I was an auditor for years, so I used to audit major publicly traded international companies, and I've seen wild things over my time. But so I don't want to tell you up front, there's no guarantees of zero risk, right? That doesn't exist in our life. But the way that MyCase Accounting and MyCase case management work substantially lowers the risk of errors, okay? When it comes to your trust and your trust accounting. This is a big reason why I'm loving MyCase Accounting. As we've got our chart of accounts, this is the same functionality that you will have in any bookkeeping system. When you first log into MyCase Accounting, which this is the same no matter whatever bookkeeping app you use, it will give you a basic chart of accounts. You have the ability, and I highly encourage you to edit to make the information more meaningful. Your chart of accounts, customize it to make the information meaningful to you. And what you change in here becomes available in different drop downs between the income and the expenses. That's what I want to talk about today. If you're already using MyCase as your legal case management system, I cannot recommend enough to jump into MyCase Accounting to house the books for your firm. To me, it's a no-brainer. If you have questions, let me know. So this is an overview video, and I will be releasing additional videos that dive into more of the accounting features within MyCase Accounting. And included in some of the future upcoming videos, there's going to be a video comparing this specifically to QuickBooks Online. I hope you've enjoyed this video overview of MyCase Accounting. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get those answered. Be sure to subscribe so that you can get notifications of my future videos when they get released. Thanks.